Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the show, the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram today. Well, in this Cricket Happening Show, what I'm going to talk about is India going 2-up in the Border Gavaskar Trophy series with a very crushing innings defeat, win against Australia. In fact, India won by an innings and 135 runs. So Australia really going down without a fight. Probably one would have expected Australia to, put up a much better performance than what they put in the first innings. One knows it was pretty difficult, but just surrendering so tamely to the Indian spinners was not one would have expected, because, as you know, Australia were 74 for 2 the previous night. And just imagine this, adding only 66 runs and then losing the remaining 8 wickets. So that was not something that Australia would have expected. In fact, Michael Clarke, the captain, after the post-match press conference, definitely sounded there by saying that the batsman has to own responsibility for playing some indiscreet shots. Well, one has to really wait and watch how Australia learned their lessons going into the third match in Mohali in Chandigarh, which starts this Friday. Well, Australia started off today with Shane Watson and Ed Cowan at the crease, and they just started off with Ishant Sharma was given the ball by Dhoni to start off proceedings, and he was bowling very well. And in fact, he was the one who actually provided them the breakthrough, which a very bad shot being played by Shane Watson, who tried to actually flick him away down the leg side, probably trying to do a leg glance, but one thought it was a very good catch taken by Dhoni of the bowling of Ishant Sharma, and it was a very good catch taken by Dhoni actually, and Ishant Sharma was the bowler. So Shane Watson was the first to go, caught Dhoni, bowled by Ishant Sharma for 9 with 1 6, and that made the score 75 for 3. Michael Clarke walked in and joined Ed Cowan. Now Ed Cowan, well, he was keeping the bowlers at bay. He was basically playing the nerdling role there. Michael Clarke, well, he hit one very good 6, and barring that he made only 16 runs. But with the score on 108, Ravindra Jadeja was bowling, and what Jadeja did, he produced a beauty of a delivery. And let me tell you, only a beauty of a delivery could actually dismiss Michael Clarke in such great form. So this was a delivery which was a real picture for everybody, because the Ravindra Jadeja was bowling the ball which was actually coming on to the middle stump, in fact drifting towards the middle, and suddenly the ball changed direction, and actually in the air the ball turned, and after pitching it actually started going towards the off stump. And Michael Clarke, the captain, even though what superb defense Michael Clarke has, he tried to go on to his forward defense, but the ball was a bit sharp and quite fast for Michael Clarke's liking, and it went on and crashed into the stumps, and Michael Clarke was walking, bowled by Ravindra Jadeja for 16 with 1 6, and that made the score 108 for 4. So after Michael Clarke went, that would have been a big victory for India, because they would have known that the main wicket that they needed was Michael Clarke. If at all they wanted Australia, they wanted to inflict an innings defeat on Australia, and that's what precisely happened. But as I said, it took a beauty of a ball from Ravindra Jadeja to see the back of this very good form man, the Australian captain Michael Clarke, for 16. So which made the score 108 for 4. Ed Cowan was the one who was the highest scorer, who had resisted very well as far as the spinners were concerned. But Ed Cowan was on his way, as Jadeja really buoyed up after that first success that he got in the day. He went on to pick up the wicket of Ed Cowan first, who left with his individual score on 44 with 6 boundaries, and he was caught by Sehwag with the bowling of Jadeja, and that made the score 111 for 5. Moises Henriques, the debutant, was along with Matthew Wade, and Matthew Wade, who played very well in the first innings. But this time, now it was the time for Ashwin to come into the picture. As Ashwin was brought on, Ashwin actually had the wicket of the next wicket to go of Moises Henriques, Again, Jadeja coming into the picture, but now not with the ball, but with his fielding, because he actually, the stroke was played and Jadeja actually didn't field it properly, but he got back to it quickly, and in one swoop action he threw down the stumps with Moises Enriquez caught off the ground, and Moises Enriquez was gone, run out for a duck, and the score read 111 for 6. Glenn Maxwell came in and joined Matthew Wade, and Glenn Maxwell, what he did is he couldn't actually read a carom ball which was coming in from Ashwin, and he wanted to actually flick it away, but to his utter chagrin, he saw that he was wrapped on the pads. He missed the line, wrapped on the pads, up went the umpire's finger. Glenn Maxwell was walking, LBW ball Ashwin for 8, and Australia were really going down at that stage, 123 for 7, and there was no possibility for them to avoid an innings defeat here when Maxwell left. And then the next wicket to go was Peter Siddle. Peter Siddle was caught Kohli, bowled Jadeja for 4, which made the score 130 for 8, and then the formalities were performed with Matthew Wade. Unfortunately, because he was running out of partners, he tried to play his strokes, but he was gone as Ashwin picked up his wicket, 5th wicket there, as he was caught by Sehwag of the bowling Ashwin for 10, and that made the score 130 for 9 with one more run added. It was all over for Australia. Australia had to pack their bags as far as the second test was concerned, as Pattinson was ruled LBW bowled Ashwin for a duck, giving Ashwin figures of 28 overs, 12 maidens, 63 runs and 5 wickets. Tremendous bowling from Ravichandran Ashwin, his second or third 5-wicket haul in this particular series. 131 all out Australia, India inflicting a crushing innings defeat by 135 runs for the Australians and going 2-0 up in the 4-match series in the Border Gavaskar Trophy series. And Australia would have definitely, as you know, India when they went to Australia, they really struggled over there. They were really mauled by Australia, and now it's probably the time for India to give it to Australia, and that's what they have precisely done. But still, we have 2 more test matches to go, but at least India have ensured that they won't be losing this test series for sure now. It could only be finishing in either a draw, or it could be probably Australia could salvage something. But looking at things, it doesn't really seem like the Australian batsmen have been really struggling against the spinners. The next match is going to be in Mohali. Well, Mohali definitely aids the pacemen a bit, but again, I'm sure the ball would definitely start turning probably on the 3rd or 4th day, and Australia would once again be caught in that. One only hopes that Australia really learned their lessons. They go back to the drawing board and see what is the best approach or the best skills set that they have, and they combine everything together and try to put up a much better picture when they face off against India at Mohali in Chandigarh. Let's look at the bowling figures. Bhuvneshwar Kumar didn't bowl at all, so I'm not going to talk about that. He had none for 7 of 6 overs and 4 maidens. Ashwin 28 overs, 12 maidens, 63 runs and 5 wickets for him. Harbhajan Singh 10 overs, 7 maidens, none for 10. Jadeja 18 overs, 8 maidens, 3 for 33. And Ishan Sharma 5 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 5. Got that early wicket of Shane Watson. And the player of the match went to Cheteshwar Pujara. Now for Australia, what they have to look at is I'm sure, if I have time on my YouTube broadcast, I will just do a sort of an analysis here. As far as I'm concerned, I would say that Phil Hughes has been really struggling at the crease. He has not been able to really judge the spinners. It has been a very stiff examination for him, and my opinion would be that Phil Hughes should make way for Usman Khawaja, and they have also been lacking some very good opening starts. Now Phil Hughes probably I would look at it as a change, whereby Usman Khawaja could be given an opportunity in the 3rd test match. And other than that, that is for the Australian think tank to really dwell on that and see what exactly has gone wrong and where exactly they can fill up the blanks there. Other than that, dear fans, friends and subscribers, as far as this match is concerned, that wraps up my report as far as the 2nd test match between India and Australia is concerned. And now I'm going to shift my focus on to another test match which is coming up. Now this is the test match, is going to be the first test match for England against New Zealand. In fact, England are playing their first test match in 2013. They would like to really start it off on a very good note, and they would be facing off against New Zealand in the first test match at the University Ground Stadium here in Dunedin. Now, as far as ground is concerned, one is told that it could really help the seamers. There could be some lot of cloud cover, so it would be very interesting to see how really things go out there at Dunedin. New Zealand, well, there would be one thing that New Zealand would be happy about is that just probably a week back, the New Zealand playing 11, the hopeful 11 I would say, actually defeated England in a 3-day or a 4-day game. So that would give them a lot of confidence, and New Zealand would have a new opener, Peter Fulton, who is making his comeback. But one has to really look at this. Well, he has been amongst the runs as far as New Zealand are concerned in the domestic tourney. He has made a lot of runs. So Peter Fulton, at the age, I mean, if you look at his age, he is pretty aged right now. He's 34 years of age, and he is the one who would be opening with Hamish Rutherford, who would be probably making his Test debut, because Peter Fulton and Hamish Rutherford would open the innings. So that's what the team composition is as far as New Zealand are concerned. So it's a new composition. So one has to see how they actually play against the world-class bowlers like James Anderson, Stuart Broad, and Stephen Finn. That would be very interesting. And then as far as the other batting card is concerned, they have Kane Williamson, the experienced Ross Taylor. Dean Brownlee is a very good player. He got a century, as you remember, against Australia too, and he should be against South Africa in fact. So Dean Brownlee should be the one, would be a player to watch there. Brendan McCullum is the captain, as you know. Watling, well, he's coming on some good form. He actually had a good hand in that victory against England in the New Zealand playing 11. Then they have the bowling. The bowling, well, it would be in the hands of Tim Southee, who actually moves the ball at good pace both ways. Then they have Neil Wagner, who is a very fine prospect for New Zealand. Then they have Trent Bolt, the person who actually gets the ball to jag in. And then it would be a toss-up between Ian Butler or Bruce Martin. I have a feeling probably they will go for an Ian Butler, so that they keep a four-seam attack. Whether Bruce Martin, the spinner, would be given an opportunity, it remains to be seen. So, but as far as England are concerned, now England, well, Alistair Cook, as I said, always leads from the front, and he would like to start off on a very good note. Alistair Cook would be partnering Nick Compton. Nick Compton, as you know, even though he didn't make lots of runs, but definitely showed tremendous technique as far as batting is concerned, Nick Compton. He also picked up some useful scores, but what is going to be very important is that Nick Compton has to really get on to something big now against New Zealand, because against India, he was given an opportunity which he grabbed it with both hands and really showed what a future player he can be. And he's the perfect opener according to me. So he'll be opening with Alistair Cook. Then they have the one-drop Jonathan Trott coming in. And then they have Kevin Peterson, who is back. And Peterson, what a wonderful player he is. Jonathan Trott too has tons of runs, as you know. And then the England batting order seems to be pretty strong. Ian Bell is the next man who is in some good form on this New Zealand tour. And then Joe Root. Now Joe Root, what to talk about Joe Root? Another very technically perfect player who is very much suited for the Test matches, and he has also done well against India, as you know. And Joe Root would be absolutely raring to go against New Zealand. And then they have Matt Pryor, the wicketkeeper, who is a very useful batsman too. And then the bowling, it's a world-class bowling unit now. James Anderson, they have Stephen Finn, and they have Stuart Broad. They are a perfect combination. James Anderson at pace will swing the ball both ways. Stephen Finn with his height will get some good bounce, and Stuart Broad has variations to really trouble the batsman. And then Graham Swan, the right arm off spinner, who created havoc when he came to India and really had the Indians in a real tailspin, would be bowling against this Kiwi batsman. But all in all, the first Test match starts between New Zealand and England at Dunedin. That's it from me, your host Ram, for the cricket show for today. See you all tomorrow with the first day's play report on the first Test match between England and New Zealand. Until then, it's goodbye. Thank you.